Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Welcome to Game Time with Hubb, your all-access pass to the hottest stories in football, basketball, boxing, and wrestling. Whether it's game-winning touchdowns, buzzer beaters, knockout punches, or jaw-dropping suplexes, we've got it all covered. Here's your host, Hubb.
What's up? It's your boy Hubb, and you're locked into Game Time with Hubb, where the numbers matter and the vibes are elite. The receipts are kept, week 6 is in the books, and we did exactly what we said we would. 10-5 on the slate, a clean bounce back, pushing the season line to 61-31-1. That's 66.3%, 66.3. We're talking consistent, disciplined, week-over-week cooking. If you've been rocking with me, you already know. We don't chase, we analyze, we don't panic, we adjust. Yeah, Thursday got a little icy in the icy hot bowl. The Bengals took down the Steelers 33-31. We took an L, and somehow Joe Flacco keeps pulling that old man wizardry on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's cool, you got to respect it. We tipped the cap. But we lock back in because that's what we do here. Short memory, big energy, sharper edges. Now listen, week 7 board is juicy. We're international for breakfast. We're coast to coast for lunch. We're under the lights for dessert. I've got data. I've got matchups. I've got coaching tendencies, travel spots, red zone rates, all of it. And I'm about to lay it out so you can watch these games with purpose. If you're new here, hit that follow, smash subscribe, drop a 5-star if you're feeling the picks. And don't forget to screenshot your cards and tag me. I'll repost the cleanest slips. Now for today's show, we start with London vibes at Wembley. Stafford and those Rams trying to carve up a zone-heavy Jags look overseas. Then we slide into the 1 p.m. window where contenders separate from pretenders. After that, we ramp into the 4 p.m. fireworks, set the stage for Sunday night drama, and close it down with a Monday doubleheader you don't want to miss. So grab your coffee, line up those parlays, and tighten up the chin strap because the insights are hot, the edges are real, and the energy, it's all the way up. Week 7, let's make a statement. London, you're on the clock. Now let's kick this thing off in London, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow morning, we got the 4-2 Los Angeles Rams taking on the 4-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, let's talk flow here. Jacksonville's offense need a spark, and you're hearing the noise. Get Travis Hunter featured as a true primary. When he's the first read, it changes the geometry. Backside safety, can't lean so hard into adjacent concepts, and you create the one-on-one leverage shots that Trevor Lawrence likes on early downs. The problem lately hasn't just been targets, it's been the structure. If your call sheet doesn't force the ball to your playmaker versus zone, you're begging for a low yards after catch, check downs, and long third downs. Flip it to the Rams. They bring the heat with Byron Young on a ridiculous 8-game, at least a half-sack streak. Jags have a top 3 pass block win rate. Respect that. But last week, we saw what happens when things get messy and Trevor holds on to the ball. 7 sacks, career high. That's not sustainable in London with crowd energy surging on every negative play. The way LA wins this is exactly how they've won quietly all year. Front 4 disruption, Stafford dice, slice and zone, and stand out of 3rd and long. Now for the Jaguars, their path is move the pocket, 2-man routes off heavy play action, RPO glance to get Hunter when corners bail, and a little deep and a little tempo to keep Young from pinning his ears back. Defensively, the Jags are zone heavy and bottom 5 in pass yards allowed, not what you want against Matthew Stafford, who's been a surgeon versus zone looks. Even with Puka Nacua, who's going to be out tomorrow, Stafford still layers middle of the field throws like few in the league. If you're Jacksonville, you've got to muddy those landmarks. Rotate left, flash robber, and make Stafford hitch. It's a tight script, but in the game defined by QB precision and pass rush finish, I trust the cleaner side. My pick here is the Rams. Now let's roll to the States to start this 1 p.m. window. We kicking it off in Chicago with the 3-2 Chicago Bears taking on the 1-5 New Orleans Saints. This one here is a vibe check. Chicago started 0-2, flipped the script to win 3 straight. And the tape says it's not a fluke. Cleaner operation, better early down sequencing, and defense turning the ball over. And when your defense gets turnovers, your QB's life gets a whole lot easier. DeAndre Swift at 10.9 yards per touch last week on Monday night. That's what patience and cut discipline looks like. He's reading the second level flow, not just the first crease. New Orleans, now I hear y'all on this whole Dennis Allen storylines coming back. He was fired midway through the season last year. You're downplaying the revenge aspect of this, but the numbers are the numbers here. Multiple pass TDs allowed in 8 straight. That's a trend that speaks to coverage busts and zone execution. If Chicago continues to scheme Luther Burden III into define leverage, you're asking a struggling Saints offense to trade possessions with a team finding rhythm. Keys for me in this one, the Bears on first down. Keep it ahead of the sticks with swift and easy access throws, then sprinkle shot plays when safeties trigger downhill. For the Saints, it's about finishing drives. Too many empty red zone trips have made the scoreboard uglier than the yardage, but with Chicago at home, a turnover-hungry defense, and a QB who's not forcing hero ball, the path is clear. My pick here, Chicago Bears. Moving on to Cleveland, where we got the 1-5 Cleveland Browns taking on the 1-5 Miami Dolphins. Look, both teams need a mirror. Miami's defense has leaked explosive plays, and Cleveland's offense have been stuck in the mud. So what gives for me? It's the Browns defense. That 4.7 yards per play allowed tells you the structure is intact. The question is whether they can play complementary ball long enough to let the run game tilt time of possession. I love this trench matchup with left tackle Patrick Paul, who has been elite with a 92% pass block win rate. But Myles Garrett definitely is the cheat code here. Miami's best answer is quick game into run-pass balance. Force Cleveland's fronts to honor the edges, then take your punch shots. But the quieter edge sits with Quinshon Judkins and the Browns' ability to grind on the defense, allowing 5.6 yards per rush. If Cleveland stays out of negative plays and leans on situational brilliance, screens versus pressure, tight ends in the middle window, they can win ugly, which is exactly what they want. It's not pretty, but it cashes. My pick here is the Browns. Moving on to Kansas City, we got the 3-3 Kansas City Chiefs welcoming in the Las Vegas Raiders at 2-4. AFC West divisional game here. This has statement recentering written all over it. The Chiefs gets Rashee Rice back, which unlocks spacing with Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy. Now Andy Reid can stretch you horizontally and also vertically without leaning on perfection from Mahomes every snap. That matters against the Raiders defense that wants to live in the game with Max Crosby winning early downs. Vegas' hope is that Ashton Genty grinding, staying on schedule, keeping Mahomes on the sideline. But here's the real. Kansas City's defense just answered a top offense and held them to 17 points last week against the Lions. Paired that with the wide receiver room getting healthier, and you got the old Patriots trick. Look mortal in September, morph in October. If the Raiders don't hit 20, and they rarely do in this spot, the dam breaks. My pick here, Chiefs. Moving on to Minnesota, where we got the Philadelphia Eagles at 4-2, traveling to take on the Minnesota Vikings at 3-2. Philly had the meeting. Jalen Hurts talked about direction, and I think the direction is spelled R-U-N, run. Saquon Barkley has been underused. This is the week to fix it against a Vikings defense that struggled in run success rate. Brian Flores will blitz, he'll disguise, but if Philly commits to under center, wide zone, and play action with defined reads, you take the teeth out of those pressures. Minnesota side is the health report. Quarterback uncertainty and a banged-up offensive line. Carson Wentz most likely will be starting against his old team here, so you can expect quick rhythm to Justin Jefferson, RPOs to slow the rush, and a steady diet of movement throws. But Philly's front with Jalen Carter back can still ruin pockets in a hurry. This feels like a field goal game decided by who owns the A gaps in the fourth quarter. Ball control, situational toughness, short road favorite. I'm picking the Eagles. Next up, we headed up to MetLife, where the New York Jets at 0-6, taking on the Carolina Panthers at 3-3. Look, Jet fans, look, I feel y'all. Man, it's rough. It's been rough for y'all. Justin Fields need to play faster. 9 sacks last week is team-wide. But some of that is direction time. Without Garrett Wilson, who will be out, explosive play creation has to come from design, but not just talent. The positive, Carolina's pressure rate is low, so Fields could see cleaner looks, but the Panthers have found an identity. Rico Dowdle earned his real volume even with Chuba Hubbard back last week. That tandem lets Dave Canales stay balanced and keep Bryce Young out of hero ball. The hidden edge here, Carolina's run defense, top 10 If the Jets can't create explosive plays through the air, they'll be playing on a short field of possibilities. It's tight, it's gritty, and it's a spot to trust the team that finishes drives better. My pick here is the Panthers. Now moving on to Tennessee, we got the 1-5 Tennessee Titans welcoming in the 4-5 New England Patriots. This right here, the Mike Vrabel Bowl. New England's trying to stack 3 straight road wins. First time since way back, and Vrabel's returning to Nashville adds juice, but the football piece matters more. The Titans are breaking in an interim coach, and the data on interim bumps versus winning teams is not great. Tennessee has to find third down answers. They've been ice cold since last season, and without clean wide receiver health, your margin shrinks. The Patriots aren't perfect, but they've got a road warrior profile right now, solid special teams, physical on defense, and willing to win 20-16. Don't overthink the emotion. Think blocks and tackles. My pick here is the Patriots. Moving on to our 4 o'clock window, we got the Denver Broncos at home at 4-2, taking on the New York Giants at 2-4. Look, I love Jackson Dart Spark for the Giants here. Him and Cam Scatterbo. It's real, but Denver's defense is playing bully ball. League leading in sacks and pressure rate, interior rush that collapse, step-ups, edges that win the count, rookie QBs on the roll against that front. That's a trust fall with no spotter. New York can't compete if Andrew Thomas and Jermaine Eleanor hold up long enough to get the quick game unlocked. Slants, sticks, speed outs, QB keeps to slow Denver edge angles. But the Broncos have the answers at all 3 levels in a home field rhythm that's been worth a touchdown this year. If the Giants fall into 3rd and 7 land, it's hunting season. Rookie flashes are fun, but Denver's front is final. My pick here is the Broncos. Moving on to LA, we got the LA Chargers at 4-2, taking on the Indianapolis Colts at 5-1. This is going to be a good game, y'all. This is trench poetry here. The Colts are number 1 scoring offense with only 10 punts through 6 games. That's operational excellence. Jonathan Taylor's leading every after contact category that matters. Tyler Warren is giving them chain moving answers when defenses overplay the run. The Chargers do have a path. Justin Herbert staying patient, taking the underneath stuff, making it a 3rd and 3 game and not a 3rd and 9 game. You can move the ball on Indy if you embrace boredom, but tackling has been an issue for LA, especially outside the tackles where Taylor is lethal. If that persists, the 4th quarter becomes a Jonathan Taylor highlight reel. Harbaugh's crew will fight, but Indy's balance and travel will finish this. My pick here is the Colts. Next up, we headed to Arizona, where the 3-1-1 Green Bay Packers are coming into town to take on the Arizona Cardinals at 2-4. The Packers' offense is quietly explosive on a per-play basis, and Jordan Love has shown he trusts Matthew Golden in weighty moments. That 3rd and long shot last week said a lot. Arizona's pass defense has allowed chunky yards per play, and even with Will Johnson is sticky, you can't take away everything. The Cardinals flashed their best offensive game with Jacoby Brissett, but replicating that against a more disciplined defense is tough, especially with skilled guys in and out. If it's Kyler, you're leaning on second reaction throws. If it's Jacoby, you're living on timing. Either way, Green Bay's defense gets just enough spots, and Love hits his explosive plays. Trust meter favors the Pack, so I'm picking the Packers. Next up, we headed to Dallas for NFC East divisional game. We got the 2-3-1 Dallas Cowboys welcoming in the Washington Commanders at 3-3. Welcome to the fireworks factory. Dallas scores, Washington can score, and both defense are, let's just say they both are just cooperative here. Dak Prescott against the Commanders at home has been money, and with CeeDee Lamb trending to come back, the spacing returns, Jake Ferguson being tight end target king helps on 3rd down in that red area. The Commanders, they need to finish drives. They can't settle. They have a quarterback who can put up 30 on you if the ball security holds. But Dallas' historical dominance in this exact matchup in this building is hard to fade. Adding Washington's injury at wide receiver, no Terry McLaurin, and it tilts a little bit over here to the Cowboys. I'm looking at a shootout juice type game, star power, home edge though. My pick here is the Cowboys. Moving on to Sunday Night Football on NBC. We up in the Bay Area with the San Francisco Niners at 4-2, welcoming in the Atlanta Falcons at 3-2. Look, strap up, man. The Falcons defense is playing some real ball. lowest yards allowed per game. And the offense identity is built around Bijan Robinson being a problem from snap one. With Fred Warner out, Atlanta can lean into gap pin pull and force San Francisco's second level to fit perfectly for 60 minutes. On the other side, the Niners are trying to rediscover their run game efficiency, and getting George Kittle back helps. But since Nick Bosa went down, the pressure rate has fallen off, and that matters if you want to keep Michael Penix Jr. uncomfortable. If Atlanta stays out of must-pass situation, their script is control, control, control. Chew clock, finish in the red zone, and make San Francisco string together 12-play drives. It's physical, it's smart, and it travels. My pick here is the Falcons. Now we go into double dip on Monday Night Football. Got a doubleheader kickoff here with game one. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-1, traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions at 4-2. This is a heavyweight main event right here. Kicking off the Monday games, Baker Mayfield is playing that you can't sit with us swagger, MVP type moments. But Detroit at home is a different animal. The Lions have hung 30+ in 5 straight at Ford Field, and the Jared Goff version you get in Detroit is a distributor that makes this offense hum. Tampa's secondary attrition versus Detroit's spacing is the hinge. If the Bucs are still thin and Dan Campbell is rolling bodies up front, plus Aleem McNeil getting back into the mix, that pass rush raises the floor. Even if Mike Evans is back, the overall Tampa Bay wide receiver health picture is questionable, and Goff against the blitz, he's been deadly this year. Baker keeps it spicy, but the dome is loud and the Lions are built for this exact environment. My pick here is the Lions. Now we close it out for our last game of the week, game 2 of our doubleheader on Monday night. Seattle Seahawks at home at 4-2, taking on the Houston Texans at 2-3. Late night vibes in the Northwest. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been a video game this season. Usage out wide. Full route tree, chunks on chunks. But here comes Derek Stingley Jr., a true island corner when he's in rhythm. If Houston can make Seattle play left-handed by taking Njigba down a notch, it forces the rest of the offense to win on schedule. The Seahawks defense getting bodies back in the secondary is massive. Communication issues is clean up. Disguise gets better. And suddenly those same pressures become picks. Offensively, Seattle must protect long enough for deep intermediate shots, if not settle into quick game and let your yards after catch be your engine. Houston's offensive line has to hold up in the noise. If it doesn't, the script gets away from them. I trust the building, the defense trending healthy, and Sam Darnold to make 2 more plays at home. My pick here is the Seahawks. For a recap, I got Rams, Bears, Browns, Chiefs, Eagles, Panthers, Patriots, Broncos, Colts, Packers, Cowboys, Falcons, Lions, Seahawks. That's the slate. We're sitting at 61, 31-1. That's 66.3%. And we're hunting another winning week. If you're rocking with the picks, follow, rate 5 stars, and tag me in your slips. I'm reposting the cleanest tickets. I'm Hubb. This is Game Time. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next week.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Game Time with Hubb. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss Game Time action. See you next time.